Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
Forza Horizon is one of the rare racing series that I actually really enjoy, to the point where I think Forza Horizon 5 might have been the first racing game I've played since Forza Horizon 4.
I had like a similar one. I think I was thinking like not Burnout, but like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, whatever that Criterion one was
Yeah.
like maybe the last time I had played a racing game.
Yeah. They don't come up often, but Forza Horizon
Yeah.
5, and Forza Horizon in general is like, it's so much fun that you have to. Even if you don't like racing games, there's just something weird about this one that's just like, it's so good. Everything works so well. You can play it as casually as you want, and you don't have to go in there and decide what size tires you want and how many
Sure.
brakes or what size engine or how many whatevers. I don't know how cars work, but it's so much fun. Now, I need to preface this with saying I do not have an Xbox Series anything or a fancy PC, so I played through this whole thing on my original Kinect included Xbox One, which,
Yeah.
just throwing this out there, not the ideal way to play this game. The loading times on that thing, like, you could like go make a sandwich in between some of these races. Like, it is insane how bad the loading times are on Xbox
That might
One.
be an Xbox One problem because I was
and
playing
that's
on,
why I want to
was playing on a
preface
nice
with
PC. It was,
and that, yes, that's why I felt the need to like start there. Is like, if there's any of these complaints that sound technically, it's probably because I'm playing a brand new Series X game on my like
Sure.
8-year-old Xbox One.
And I'll correct you if it's a problem on PC or not. PC had its own fun little technical issues that were a pain in the butt, but they luckily, the game just would not run for me until they patched it like after like 3 days. I was like, okay, now it works miraculously for me. Yay.
The one thing I will say is, even on Xbox One, this thing looks insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just playing it, having kind of jumped from some PS5 stuff into this, you could barely tell that I had switched over to an Xbox One because it just looks that good. The draw distance on some of the stuff, the details, like there's a big like volcano thing that you climb a bunch of times to do races at the top of it and do downhill stuff. And when you get up there, you can see everything. It looks incredible. You would have no clue that this isn't running on PS5 Series X on my Xbox One. It's just insane how gorgeous this game is.
Yeah, the one thing that really surprised me about it, I think when I was playing it was one of the things that they really like to do this gen is like deserts. Like we can make a desert look really good. And this game has good looking deserts, but the thing that was surprising to me was like, let's do a jungle. It was like the first time I felt like a jungle was actually dense. Like I was like, oh, this is actually a jungle. Every video game that ever does jungles, it's either the only time they're able to do it is like an Uncharted game where it's like a little hallway that looks like a jungle that's like really dense. That works.
Yeah.
But like just an open world jungle is just wow. That was probably the part that was like super impressive to me. Was like, oh, I just never seen a game this dense with foliage, and that to me was like a very next gen-y sort of moment for me. Was just traveling through the jungle areas.
And I think that's what's really cool about this is because you have the desert, you have the jungle, you have the beach, you have this mountain, you have all these areas, and they all look so cool, and you never really get that. I feel like, and again, this is coming from not a huge racing game person, but I feel like you never get that generic big city. There's a couple little towns that you drive through. There's one average sized city, but not like skyscrapers and things like that.
Sure.
It's all this just driving out in the wilderness, driving out in the middle of nowhere, and it's so cool. The jungle specifically, they're just like, there's random swamps in the middle of it. Yeah. And it's just one of those things where like you're not going to run into that, like you said, in Uncharted, because we're really only making like a 30-foot wide jungle right now. It's just going to go in a hallway. So you don't get all that stuff, and just you can drive through all this, and it's dense. There's cool things that are called trailblazers, where you just start a mark, and it's just like, here's another mark on the other end of the jungle. Bust through it however you want to. You got a minute to get there.
There's no driving. It doesn't tell you where to drive. It's just get to this point.
Yep.
Yes, that's so sick. I love that's actually my favorite aspect of the game. I think I mean, be clear, I only played about 3 or 4 hours of this. Brad finished this game. But I think that was kind of my favorite aspect, was that point to point, because it was just like, even the desert areas, like, here, just get to this point.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's super fun. And then there's the races that I didn't really enjoy. I enjoyed more of this sort of like, I don't know, exploration-y sort of aspect of the game that I really enjoyed, but then I realized I had to do a bunch of other races, which is why I kind of dropped off of it. But I really did like that point-to-point, especially if it's through the jungle or through a desert or through whatever. Because I think even the point-to-point stuff where it's like you can go wherever you want, like they do a very good job of like placing waterfalls just kind of with, you're like, they know you're going to hit that waterfall. They know you're going to hit that jump. They know you're going to hit that whatever. So it just felt like every single, which feels random, I guess. Like the idea of like, oh, here, just drop a point here. It's like, well, no, it's actually very well thought out where they put that point, or very
Mm-hmm.
well thought out where they hid this certain locations. Like, hey, go search this area. It's like you're gonna hit all these interesting spots before you get to that
Yeah.
thing. It
And
just felt like a very, very well designed game with every single one of those little missions.
I always think that's the thing with Forza Horizon games is that you can play these however you want. You could probably
Yeah.
progress your way mostly through this game without doing your normal like street race through like just some paved roads. You could do like your dirt races. You could do speed traps, jumps, showcase events, go like find photos, go explore things. All those things build the same credits that you do for everything else. So you
Yeah.
can really play this however you want to get through and build your progression if you even want to really progress through things, because really once you unlock the main showcase areas, which is kind of your generic goal is to build this festival out as you start right in the middle of the map, and then you get these showcase things where you can go and okay, now we have a headquarters set up on the beach, now we have a headquarters set up in the mountain, now we have one set up in the desert. Once you kind of unlock those areas and you get the events in there, you can really push your way through the rest however you want. Just do whatever the hell you want to do and you're fine, which I think is always what's really cool about these, that just I don't care about this, so I'm just not even going to do it. I'm not even going to bother doing the street races. I'm not even going to bother during the dirt races. The photo stuff, I just drive to the point, take a picture, and I run back. That's kind of boring. Not going to bother. And I think that's kind of my favorite aspect of this is it's just whatever you're in the mood for that minute, there's something to satisfy you. You're like, I just got 5 minutes to play really quick. Cool. I'll just go hit a couple speed traps, go hit a couple jumps, maybe do one of the quick like 2 minute long story missions, and I'm good.
So why does this? So the thing that was kind of bugging me when I was playing this game is like, why does this work in this game but doesn't work in Assassin's Creed or any Ubisoft game? Because it's
Oh
mechanically
yeah.
essentially the exact same idea.
I
Maybe not mechanically, but just theoretically, I guess it's the same idea of like do whatever you want. But it's like why is it in Forza Horizon? Is it so much more compelling to do these things than it is in an Assassin's Creed game?
Three things come to mind, and I'm probably going to forget the
Yep.
third one by the time I get there. But number one,
Sure.
this game just feeds you new stuff over and over again. And when I'm saying new stuff, I mean cars. You get
Oh,
so many
sure.
cars
That's a good
just
point.
shooting at you like every 2 seconds. Assassin's Creed, you're just the dude. You're just the dude and you climb the
Yeah, and
tower. You're
doing
just the
like
dude in
a
this. And
different sword that does the exact same thing as your other sword. It's just a different
exactly.
color.
Whereas
Yeah.
this, it's like, ooh, I drove around in my like Ferrari for a minute. Ooh, now I've got a like F-150. Okay, I guess I'll go drive around in the desert for a minute in my big giant truck. Cool.
Sure.
Now I'll jump over here. Ooh, I've got this cool supercar. I'll go do that. Now I'm driving like a, I don't know cars well enough to go any further than that.
No, but you're saying they mechanically feel different enough that like
Yeah.
the different activities you're doing are actually like mechanically different as opposed to Assassin's Creed game where you're killing guys regardless.
Exactly. Second thing is I think just that there's something different where the goal is just to drive your car around. There's no plot really to this. Whereas Assassin's Creed, I think you always have that plot pulling in the back of your head of like, ooh, what's he doing?
Oh,
Where am I
sure.
going? What's going to happen? Like, I know there's 800 islands I can go to here, but that's really the island I'm supposed to go to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Where this is just
Well,
like,
yeah.
whatever. Like, just keep getting
It's a
credits
festival.
and
Mess around. Do whatever you want. Sort of
exactly.
thing.
We'll give you
Yeah.
we'll give you a showcase thing if you want to do the big fancy thing and race a train. Go race the train. If you don't, then just go do
Yeah.
a race and have fun.
Yeah. So like the story kind of feeds in that openness. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the third thing is just like it's just stupid fun. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of the like
Sure.
most stress-free games I think you can play. Because
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
you can tune the difficulty to however you want it to be. So if you want to make this
Yeah.
like your super intense, like follow that racing line exactly, all that stuff, you can do that. I think like I don't even know how many races it was in, 5, 10, 15. It pops up a little message like, hey, you're winning pretty handily. Would you like to up the difficulty from average to above average? And I just clicked that no button as fast as I possibly could.
Okay.
Because like I am fine that
Yeah.
like I'm just burning through cars. Like okay, after
Yeah.
2 laps, that third lap doesn't even matter because I'm 30 seconds ahead of everybody. But you know what? That's cool. I'm just having a good time. So I think that aspect where it's just like you can tune it to kind of play how you want to. Whereas Assassin's Creed, you have that inherent like it's going to be this difficult. Ugh, this stupid. Like I'm gonna have to fight these guards. I'm not really trying
Yeah.
to fight these guards right now. That's irritating. Ugh,
Yeah.
I want to go to the tower, but I know this is going to happen on my way. Ugh. Whereas this is like, yeah, I'm just going to go over there. Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I think a lot of the activities too. It's like they're not races, which is kind of interesting. Like it's kind of interesting how eclectic the different types are without being a race. Because I think the races were like my least favorite of the ones I played. were like the least interesting. But I don't know if there's like some like really cool crazy races later on. But like when I play a race in Forza Horizon, it's like I've played this game like 1,000 other times somewhere else. But like figuring out a speed trap, I haven't played that before. Like I actually got to get like way back out here before I even touch the speed trap and make sure I like my car is fast enough to get to that point.
Yep, you get the corner right, and I think that's the issue with racing games in general. It's just that's my thought is once I play one, I've played one on my PlayStation 3. I've played most racing games on my PlayStation 3. Oop, now I've got my PlayStation 4. I can play my one. Yeah. That's what racing games are like now. Oop, here's one on my. You know what I mean? It's just kind of that. Okay, here's the deal with it. So, I think that plays into why it's like, yep, Forza Horizon is my one, and I know that this is going to be one of the best ones, so I might as well just have that be my racing game for these 5 years and call it a day. But
yeah, it is a ridiculously good game. I think it's like one of those things where I think like Microsoft first party games were kind of like, I think Forza Horizon was kind of like the first like to me breakthrough sort of thing. So I think Forza Horizon came out kind of like the middle of like Halo's not doing so great time.
It was on the decline as Halo started going down. I think Forza Horizon popped up and went, "Ooh, but wait a minute, here's a fun thing."
Yeah, and it's cool, and it's like, and that like plus Halo Infinite, it's like, oh shit, like Microsoft first party. Like to me this is like very exciting, just like for the future of stuff. It's like this is gonna be awesome, and these guys are making Fable, which is like I don't know what that means.
I don't either. It seems
fun.
I think that will test your Assassin's Creed theory really quick.
Yeah, like, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Is it Ubisoft that's doing this Assassin's Creed stuff? Because now, like in my mind, Fable is kind of a similar vein to Assassin's Creed in the like just open world action RPG, kind of go what you want, do what you want. So
yeah,
we'll see. But
we'll see.
Forza Horizon 5, so good. I think just it's on Game Pass. Go play it. You probably have Game Pass. Most people have Game Pass. If you have an Xbox, go play it. But we are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to us wherever you're listening, and we will see you later.
Bye.